So there is this thing called the Schumann resonance, and it's known as Earth's heartbeat, but basically the Earth gives off a signal of 7.83 hertz, just like how our brains give off signals of these alpha, beta, theta, delta, gamma waves constantly. This is our state of consciousness. So when we drift off into sleep, we're slowly going from beta to alpha, theta, delta, and we are communicating with our immune system. We're communicating with our melatonin secretion. So the Earth's heartbeat is naturally slower. A lot of us are stuck in this high beta wave frequency. This is related to cortisol, increased inflammation, and any disease of the body. This is a state of disharmony. It's a state of dysregulation. It's like this, okay? Instead of being nice and calm, like, oh, this person is nice and calm. This person is chaotic, crazy, right? Crazy. Can't put your feet on the ground, right? You can't put your feet on the ground. You're so far from the natural rhythm of the earth, of the natural rhythm of Mama Nature. And how do we get into this delta wave frequency? And also, we get diagnosis of diabetes all the time, right? High blood pressure, right? High cholesterol. What is this telling us? This is telling us the growth factors of the nervous system of the body are turned on chronically. What this exposes us to is a higher risk for cancer development, right? The cancer, tumor growth, anything like that, tumors, anything that's grown in the body needs a constant on signal. And what we know about melatonin, the coolest thing about melatonin, one of the coolest things about you, is melatonin is one of the largest tumor cell suppressors. It is responsible for on switches of the cell at night, right? Related to darkness. But the problem is that we're stuck here in this high fight or flight, and we're not able to rest and digest at night. We're not communicating with our nervous system. This is why our cancer rates are elevated, autoimmune rates are elevated, neurological diseases, genetic diseases are elevated, because we are out of touch with the natural rhythm of the Earth's heartbeat. It is so beautiful, and talking about like inner peace, fight for it. You're the only one who can protect your melatonin. You're the only one who can slow down and say, I'm going to practice getting more of my delta wave sleep state. What is this correlated to? It's correlated to a drop in the heart rate, a drop in the body temperature at night, a drop in the respiratory rate. So for instance, why eating late at night accelerates our heart rate when we're trying to sleep? It literally, you're crushing your delta wave sleep state at night. If you're exposing yourself to blue light at night, you're crushing your delta wave sleep state. If we're dehydrated, if we're not getting enough amino and fatty acids, remember, if you trace back melatonin, we're going from tryptophan, the amino acid, central amino acid tryptophan is breaking down into serotonin and then breaking down into melatonin at night. So if we're dehydrated, not getting enough mineral status, of course we're not going to be able to as well get out of this high beta wave frequency. But this is why meditation is so important. Understanding that you can slow down your breathing rate. And when I kept thinking about it when I was doing my meditation right before I did this video, was trying to live in the expansion of the breath. So what I do when I meditate is, when I'm trying to drop down my respiratory rate, get into this theta and delta wave state, and I've tracked this on my Oura ring before. I think it's so fascinating how my body, if I get into a deep meditative state, my body will pick up that I'm sleeping, that I'm resting, because you can rest while you're awake. It's called meditation. You can be in a calmer state, while still being awake. And essentially, so I'm going to go back and talk about this expansion of the breath, but I didn't finish in this other video. When we wake up, they say that when we're waking up, we're in the alpha wave state. This is a very suggestive state. It's like we're waking up. This is the child's play state, where you're awake, but you're not concentrating on anything specifically. So they say when we wake up, we're in this alpha wave state. This is a time period of suggestion where, if you want to set your biochemistry up for success, this is the time to do it. If you're wanting to learn something, this is the time to do it. And we also experience this alpha wave sleep state right before we're about to go into sleep, or when we're about to fall into sleep. So before we go to sleep, sleep is a sacred time period. It's a sacred time period. We are drifting off into different states of consciousness that our immune system is healing itself in. So this alpha wave sleep state is very important. Then we go into beta wave when we're in the world, where we're concentrating, where we're focusing on tasks. And then this is also where we're overstimulated, right? On the high beta wave frequency, this is like I've overdosed on caffeine. I can't slow down. My thoughts are restless, And so and then we have the theta wave. So alpha wave, theta wave would be like we are in a deep meditative state, right? So we go through these periods when we're drifting off into sleep. You think about your body, it's getting slower and slower and slower until, if you've ever watched someone else sleep, you'll watch how deep their breath is, how deep that in-breath is, and how deep that out-breath is, and so that's what you're trying to mimic when you're doing a meditation. And it can be hard. Like over this past winter, my heart rate was so elevated. I was experiencing autoimmune symptoms. I had dryness of the skin. I had redness under my eyes. I was so fatigued. And I had sensitivity to the sunlight. So someone asked me, why am I sensitive to the sunlight? Because we are already stressed. Our stress response is already elevated. So we are more sensitive to everything, to any type of stress. And it's just like a rubber band. It's just like a rubber band. I have a rubber band right here. And over time, this is like when we're young, like a baby has the most collagen they'll ever have in their body. They're super hydrated. Okay, this rubber band is like, it's so flexible. And as we get older, this becomes dry. We lose collagen. It becomes stiff. And over time, this rubber band is going to break. But when we practice exercise, when you're also practicing getting into the meditative state, you're creating resiliency. So this rubber band can stretch out, but it can also come back to the middle and then become more flexible again. But, if you're in a sensitive place, there's only over the past winter, there's only so much you can do in your physical state, and taking care of your physical body is so important. We are physical and spiritual beings, but your spiritual metabolism is just as important. So over the winter, I could barely take on any type of stress. I could barely go in the sunlight. It would flare up all of my little symptoms that I was having. I would feel so fatigued. And the only thing that I could do was sit and practice getting into these slower hertz frequencies of my nervous system, of my brain. And you might be here, but over time, as you practice this, the body heals so fast. It's always going towards a state of healing all the time. Every single night, you're practicing slowing down and priming your brain to go into this immune function during at night. You're priming yourself for sleep. Every time you do this, your body is healing. It's finding a way out of this little stressful place that you've been, because it's always going to connect with the heartbeat of the earth, 7.83 hertz. If you've never heard of grounding too, putting your feet on the ground can be super helpful for inflammation. You can look up, there's a documentary online that you can look up about this, but we are creatures of the natural world. We are, constantly going through these states of consciousness, and, it's just beautiful. It's a tone, right? It's a tone that we carry. This is a little thing for my drum here, but every state of consciousness, every action that we take, there's a tone that carries throughout our day. So getting into your biochemical cascade in the morning, you're setting your biochemistry up for success. So when I was going through this stressful time, I was eating a lot of liver. I started eating a lot of raw eggs. I started doing my meditation so that I could get into these frequencies that would carry me into a better state of healing. So it's just one day at a time, it's just really one day at a time. And just remembering that, remember who you are. That's what the Course in Miracles says. Remember who you are. You are a beautiful creature. This cell, trillions of cells, waiting for you to come home. Your immune system is waiting for you to come home, to slow your body, slow your breath down, and to just be with yourself again, right? We're with ourselves spiritually, close your eyes. Close your eyes and feel into your heart. Tony Robbins also talks about, I thought about this morning, this posture here, this curled over posture. They've done blood work, sampled that higher release of cortisol, right? So be mindful of, how you're holding yourself, right? When we have these shoulders back, even if this is fake, right? Even if all I want to do is curl up and cry. Okay, there's a lot of times where I feel like I just want to curl up and cry, especially right now. Is it just a lot of grief and emotions I find moving through my own body. I just want to be kind of like this. And I practice when I'm doing my meditation, I'm practicing, even if I can't drop in and get into that slow, deep rhythm, I know that when I put my shoulders back, when I'm practicing engaging with my posture, that is also going to increase my testosterone, which is going to lower my cortisol, right? It changes your brainwave states. It changes your hormones. So it's so beautiful. You're so beautiful. I've got to go now. But I wish you the best of luck. Make sure that you're eating your amino and fatty acids so that your body can have a chance of getting hydrated with these micronutrients, with these minerals, so that you can get in line with Earth's heartbeat. So you can like, share, and subscribe if you found this helpful. But as always, I wish you the best of luck.